Good evening. My name is Justin Hills, and I'm a sophomore at Broadneck High School. In many ways, I'm a lucky kid. I grew up in a wonderful family with a mom and dad who loved me very much. I never had to doubt that. They always treated me like gold and that I mattered. But when I started school, I found out that the rest of the world didn't feel the same as my parents. I remember being picked on and teased from the very beginning of first grade. I was called horrible names, pushed around, and constantly made fun of. It happened almost every day. The way I dealt with this was to withdraw. I wouldn't go to parties, I refused to ride the bus, and I just got very depressed. My parents put me in therapy to see what was going on. It didn't help at all. They tried to talk to the parents of those who bullied me, and they were just told that boys would be boys. As I got older, it got worse. It continued. I was physically assaulted at one point. My cell phone would constantly be filled with text about why I was worthless and ugly. I turned to different things to help me deal with it. I started trying smoking pot. However, I was caught in school with pot and suspended and forced to mandatory drug testing. I finally couldn't take it. I went to my room and wrote a suicide note. I even thought of how I would do it. I was just ready. I just wanted all the bullying to end. But I thought of my mom, my dad, and my sister, and how much it would hurt them. I didn't want that. I prayed instead, asking God for help. My mom was very concerned. She knew a neighbor of ours, Miss Terry Sparrow, who was involved with Youth for Christ. She asked Miss Terry about taking me. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be around a bunch of religious nerds. But she said, give it a couple chances. If you still don't want to go, you don't have to. My first time at the meetings, I noticed something different. The kids were cool and friendly. The meetings were fun and interesting. I told my mom I would keep going. I grew each time I went. The leaders cared and took interest in me, and I could talk to them about anything. They asked if I wanted to go to the annual Impact Conference in Ocean City. I said sure I would go. It was fantastic. 3,000 teenagers, bands, speakers, small groups. I loved every minute of it. What really changed me was the last night. The speakers started talking about how he was a kid, how he was bullied, how hard it was, and how God had helped him. I thought this man was speaking right to me. I felt like God was speaking to me. He asked if anybody wanted to begin a relationship with God to come forward. I knew I needed that. I went forward and asked God to forgive me for all the mess I had made and to make me a Christian. That night, I shared with everyone in my group what I had been through and what I had done. I cried. Everybody cried. We prayed, and I felt like a new person. Now, since I have been back from the Impact Conference, I can look in the mirror and I don't see an ugly person. I see someone with value that God loves. I have friends through Youth for Christ that I feel safe with. I now feel like I have a place I belong. I thank God for Youth for Christ and how it has worked in my life. I want to help others who are bullied to have hope. I now have hope for my future. Thank you.